Accurate Radio Row Super Bowl 50 between the Carolina Panthers and, of course, the Denver Broncos as we're here in San Francisco. And now joining us is Chad Brown. Chad, great to see you, and how are you?
Thanks for having me on. I certainly appreciate it, and I'm doing fantastic this morning.
So now you work in Denver. Just what's the feel in Denver as people get ready for the big game?
You know, obviously, Denver Broncos are a proud bunch. This is their 8th Super Bowl as an organization. But they are coming into this one, not just the Denver Bronco fans, but the Broncos themselves, feeling a little bit underestimated. Everyone's calling the Panthers already Super Bowl champions. 17-1 obviously speaks for itself from the Panthers' perspective. Cam Newton, all the dancing and everything else. But the Broncos earned their way here. It has not been an easy road. A couple years ago for them, when they played Seattle, it was an easy road for them. I don't think they were really truly tested, nor were they mentally tough coming to that game. For this week, it's been an incredibly tough season. 11 games decided basically on the last play or two for the Denver Broncos. They found a way to win most of those games and find themselves back here, again, being underestimated.
How much do the players in that locker room really buy into that underdog mentality? Because you heard a lot of talking after the game 2 weeks ago when they beat the Patriots because not many people gave them a chance.
I think that's the mentality in the locker room is that, no one believes in us. It's kind of us against the world. Whether that's true or not, if that's what they think in that locker room, that's the rallying cry they're going into this game with. And I think that gives them a little bit of a mental edge because Carolina has kind of already anointed themselves. They have gone from confident, in my opinion, over the line into cocky, which I think sets themselves up for an upset.
And really with Peyton right now, number 18, it's his last run at this. He needs to try to get that second ring because if he loses this game, he would be under 500 in his career as a playoff starter. Do the players rally around it? I know the sheriff doesn't want to make this a distraction and all about him. That's the last thing what he wants to do. But do players rally around that in the locker room?
Well, they've said it publicly. We want to get this ring for Peyton Manning, and we want to get it for DeMarcus Ware. Obviously, the players want to get it for themselves.
Sure.
They want that Super Bowl paycheck for themselves. But it's another one of those, kind of, Plan B kind of rallying cries. Obviously, they feel underestimated. They feel like no one's giving them a chance. But while we're here, why not get one for Peyton? Why not get one for DeMarcus Ware? These guys who have been Hall of Fame caliber careers, and all they need is just one more Super Bowl ring.
When you jump around from league to league, like a guy like DeMarcus Ware from team to team, you saw him with the Cowboys for a bunch of years. Now he's in Denver. When you're a free agent and you know your career is over, how much do you place an emphasis on winning rather than taking the best contract available?
I think winning is what it's all about. Towards the end of my career, I played 15 years in the NFL. I went to the New England Patriots after I left Seattle for year 13, not because they offered me the most money, because I thought it gave me the best chance to get a Super Bowl ring. I chased that ring for 15 years. My last season was, in fact, the Patriots' perfect season that ended not so perfectly against the New York Giants in the Super Bowl. And I had opportunities to go to other teams, which I would have been either paid more money or given a more significant role. But I wanted that ring. I won 32 games in a row in high school. I went to Colorado. I won a national championship. So it only made sense for me to win a Super Bowl ring. So I chased it for 15 years, came up short. So in the end, the money comes, the money goes. But that legacy, having that ring on your finger lasts forever. So for a guy like DeMarcus Ware, I'm sure he could have had other choices where he could have went and perhaps paid him more money than what the Denver Broncos did. But he's got the best chance for success for a ring with the Denver Broncos, and I know he wants that.
Right now, everyone places such a big emphasis on health because we've seen so many players, unfortunately, take their own lives. One guy you did play with was Junior Seau. Just what was your relationship like with the guy that called everyone Buddy?
Buddy was a great guy. Bill Belichick bought all the linebackers who were 10 years plus in the league rocking chairs for our meeting room. So Junior and I sat in the back of the meeting room in our own two rocking chairs, and it was a fantastic experience to have Junior next to me in the locker room, but also next to me in that linebacker meeting room, again, sharing those rocking chairs, talking about old war stories. Obviously, I remember Junior fondly, but his tale is kind of a cautionary tale for players. You need to have a life away from football. You need to have a plan with what you're going to do after football, and you need to have things in order. Junior wasn't sleeping well. He wasn't, there was some money issues with gambling, things like that. Have that stuff under control, because once you're done playing and you no longer have the distraction of football, those things can take over your life, and I think they took over Junior's.
It's obviously changed now, but how much did they educate you when you played about keeping your body healthy and especially protecting your head?
Protecting the head really starts to come in the last couple of years I was in the league, really trying to remove the head from football. My early years, if I didn't have a ringing headache halfway through the first quarter, I thought I wasn't playing hard enough. Now I realize, that was absolutely the wrong way to go about it. Education is much, broader now. Everyone knows about head injuries in football. The techniques are being taught at a younger and younger level to remove the head from it. So I want football to be around in 50 years. And I want the moms of America to allow their sons to play. So we've got to figure out a way to make the game safer so we can still enjoy this game we love.
Did you, by the way, see the movie Concussion?
I have not seen it yet, but I've been involved in a number of concussion studies. So I'm pretty aware of all the research that's being done.
Why didn't you see the movie? Just wondering.
I'm just not a guy who goes out to movies. I wait till they come on cable. I pay a lot for my Comcast bill. It'll be in my home theater soon enough. It'll still be new to me.
In Philly, no one likes Comcast. It's the biggest devil in Philadelphia because they rip you off 24/7. So hopefully they're not a sponsor of yours or anything.
No, they're not, no.
As Chad Brown joins us from Radio Row. So let's get back to the Denver Broncos real quickly. That first quarter, to me, is going to be so important, just the way Carolina plays at the beginning of games. What does Denver have to prove in that first quarter to be in that game and compete with the Panthers?
I think from a game planning perspective, particularly for Gary Kubiak, he scripts his first 15 plays. He's got to have a number of runs in there to get Carolina, particularly Luke Kuechly and Thomas Davis, to step forward so they can respect the play-action pass later so Peyton has some windows to go with the football. Peyton no longer has the arm strength to really throw outside the numbers or throw deep. So those first 15 plays, that first quarter of offensive series for the Denver Broncos is going to be key. Running the football, getting Panthers to respect the run. So now when the Broncos run some play action, there's places to go with the football.
Everyone wants to play in the big game, and we've seen guys come back for injuries, but this has been so quick the way Davis has been doing it. You saw Terrell Owens back in Super Bowl 39 play on virtually one leg and have over 100 yards. You could make the argument that he could have been the MVP. A lot of people remember that whole game being obviously here in Philadelphia. What's your expectations for a player like that on Sunday?
Thomas Davis has overcome injuries throughout his career. It's amazing what you can do on the world's biggest stage of Super Bowl as an athlete, how much injury you can overcome, how much pain you can endure just for the opportunity to be there. So I expect essentially a 100% effort from him. I've played with guys on Super Bowl teams with broken arms and busted things, and they find a way to get it done. I expect nothing less from Thomas Davis.
What's the worst injury you ever played with?
I played with a broken collarbone in a national championship game. I broke it during pregame warmups. I didn't tell anybody. I lasted until about halfway through the fourth quarter. The game at that point was decided. I finally went to the trainer and said, I don't think I can play another down.
Wow.
So now my left shoulder is about an inch shorter than my right shoulder. So when I get my suits made, I have to be custom made so the left side's a little bit shorter than the right side.
So what did the trainer say to you when you walk up to this person with clearly an injury that you knew you had? Mm-hmm. So what did the trainer say to you? Because they must have been shocked.
Well, they know, that, as a 19-year-old kid, how many opportunities do you get to play in a national championship? Yeah. So they understood why I hid the injury and why I was able to, and why I would tough my way through it as long as I could. So there was no chastising from the trainers. They understood the stage I was on and what type of player and mindset that I had. The concern became, is this going to heal naturally, or do we have to get, some plates and some screws to fix this?
Are you in pain now when you wake up?
I am not. Most days I wake up feeling pretty good. If I don't sleep well for a number of nights, I have some lower back issues that start to plague me. But at 46 years old, I'm sure I'm not the only 46-year-old who feels that way, not just the only former football player who feels that way.
Before we let you run, as we're talking to Chad Brown, and we'll get to what you're promoting in just a brief second, when you guys were going for perfection, you saw the Panthers try to do it earlier in the year, and they lost to the Falcons. How much of the distraction was perfection? Because Carolina, you see them playing, they play loose all year, but I just feel like that's a weight off your shoulder when you lose a game like that.
It is, and there's the part about losing more than anything else is when you're winning so much and you go back and watch film on Monday, it's easier to dismiss the things that you did wrong because we won. Coach says, I got to do this better. Well, we won. When you lose, now the coaching is impactful. Now you're actually listening to it. So I think from the Panthers' perspective, you never want to lose, but sometimes it is the benefit that comes from losing. I think they got that from that Atlanta loss.
Plaxico scores in that left end zone. I'm a Patriot fan, so I remember it. It's one of the worst days in my life. And then Brady tries to come marching down the field, and you guys were down by 3 points because the final was 17-14. And they just kept on throwing deep bomb after deep bomb, if I remember, to Randy Moss. And Brady took a pretty big hit, I want to say by number 98 on the Giants, someone like that. Do you guys feel like you should have just got in field goal range and kick a field goal?
It's hard to challenge Bill Belichick's thinking. Obviously, there's some controversy about him not going for field goals in the Broncos game a couple of weeks ago.
He should have.
So
the first one, I thought.
The track record of his football, thinking and play calling is pretty clear at this point. He's one of the most successful coaches to coach not just football but any sport. So while it's easy to second guess that Super Bowl against the Giants or the championship game against the Broncos, I'm always going to say I'll trust in Bill Belichick and his football thinking.
So it seems like you got some neat stuff here. Beat it, like they say. It's the power of organic beet juice. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Well, beets have the highest level of nitric oxide and nitrates of any plant product in it. What Beat It has done is they've concentrated it into a sports shot. So now, rather than having to drink gallons of beet juice to get that same benefit, you can just take the sports shot. What that nitrate does is allows your veins to dilate and carry more oxygen. So you feel better, you recover faster, and you can work harder. The amount of athletes and clinical research and Olympians who can vouch for this product is amazing. It definitely works. It's not some hocus pocus kind of thing. It's not some miracle juice. It actually works on a scientific level to give more oxygen through your veins, which again allows you to work harder, recover faster, and feel better.
Does it taste good?
Beets are not the most delicious plant
Sure.
product on the planet.
It's not filet mignon. I
Right,
get that.
right. So the shot, I would say, does not taste delicious, but the bars
Ooh, they got
are
a
actually
bar, too.
fantastic.
Wow, this looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Wow.
I would definitely. It's a long day for you here at Radio
Yeah.
Row, so the benefits are not just for athletes or for anybody who wants to feel better and recover faster. Long day for you. Grab this bar, enjoy it. I'll come back. I'll get the results from you a little bit later.
Sure. Real quick before we let you run, we got to get a prediction on the big game.
I can see lots of reasons why people are picking Carolina, but the fact that they were 17-1 with one of the league's easiest schedules, they've gone from confident to cocky, just makes me think the Denver Broncos, with their tough schedule, with that mental toughness they developed throughout the season, is going to be enough to get them a very, very close win, something like 20-21.
All right, I'll take a try of that, and I'll give you a report back later, but it's great to see you, Chad Brown. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
We'll be back on Radio Row right after these short messages.